In 2025, LEGO released an unprecedented number of expensive sets. Some of these, like the Italian Riviera, were praised, whereas others like the Death Star caused massive controversies online. So in this video, I'll be looking at the 30 most expensive LEGO sets released this year, all over $200, to see whether these extraordinary prices are actually justified by rating them either a hit or a miss. So make sure to stick around for the full video because there are a lot of crazy sets. So what's up LEGO fans, it's LEGO Man Cam, and starting at $200 US, the first set we have is the UCS ATST from LEGO Star Wars. This set is honestly super simple, it's just a really big grey two-legged walker. With only 1,513 pieces and one minifigure, the set does not seem like the best value to me. However, what is here is pretty solid and fits the bill perfectly for being a Star Wars UCS set. It's not my cup of tea, but I will say this one is a hit. Next is the Ninjago Temple Bounty, and to me, this set perfectly encapsulates the value difference between LEGO Star Wars and other themes. For the same price here, you get over 800 more pieces and 5 additional minifigures, plus a number of large vinyl pieces for the sales. This set is another great addition in the line of Ninjago Destiny's Bounties, and although I haven't built mine yet, I'm seriously looking forward to it, so this is definitely a hit. Continuing on to the next $200 set, we have the Miniature Diagon Alley, which is a fun set, but I do not think the value is here whatsoever. Sure, the piece count is 2,750, but when almost all of those pieces are tiny and overall the build itself isn't too big, it seriously seems overpriced compared to that Ninjago bounty that we just looked at. I do like how you can display this on a shelf horizontally, however that does not make this set anywhere near worth $200, so this is our first miss. The last $200 set is Van Gogh's Sunflowers. Now to clarify, I do not care for these art sets at all, but to be honest, I can see the appeal here. The piece count checks out, the overall painting looks nice and especially from a distance, and I think the designers captured this one well, plus the amount of cool yellow colored pieces here is to die for, so I'm going to give this one a hit as well. Moving up to $210, we have 3 more sets, the first 2 being the City Tower and Explorer Train from LEGO City. With these both being the 2 most expensive LEGO City sets of the year, I have different opinions on both of them. The City Tower for me is a total waste of a $200 LEGO City set. The building is a bizarre mishmash of construction, police, fire, stunts, and space, to which I think just looks messy. The core building at the center looks really awesome, but it's hiding in amongst all of this other rubbish, and I would have loved to see that main building expanded upon, but with 70% of the pieces here being wasted, this one is totally a miss. The Explorer Train, however, I think is great. It has some fun features and even includes a remote control power function, and while the price is high, the additional tracks and bigger pieces do bump up the price for this one, so again, this one is a hit. We then had the return of the Simpsons with the Krusty Burger, and to me, this set perfectly shows the difference between 2010s and 2020s LEGO. This set has some nice minifigures, don't get me wrong, but the build is downsized and this set is just too expensive. When you compare it to the Quickie Mart or the Simpsons house, this one really sticks out to me and not in a good way. I love the return of the Simpsons in LEGO, but this one really teeters the line for me, so I'm going to give it a miss, but it could be a hit if you get it on a good sale. The $220 price point gives us 2 LEGO Ideas sets, the first being the Cullen House from Twilight. Now, I'm not even going to pretend like I know anything about what's going on here, so from a generic LEGO fan's perspective, I think the design of this house is really neat, and that's about it. I'll give this one a tentative hit, but do let me know in the comments if there's something in this set that's like a glaring issue, because I've never read any of these books or seen the movies. There is then Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which I think is actually a pretty nice set. I think the build is a little small for the price, but I love all the vibrancy in the colors, and the layout works really well with that chocolate river going down the middle. The minifigures are also pretty decent, so I'll give this one a hit, even if it is pretty forgettable as a set from this year. Like genuinely, I forgot this set even came out before making this video, and I think goes to show you just how many of these big sets LEGO is pumping out. Moving up to $230, we have the Shuttle Carrier Aircraft. I don't have much to say here. I think it looks okay, but I've never been a fan of these LEGO space sets, which LEGO seems to have made so many of over the past few years. They must sell well, and I'm sure that space fans enjoy them. But then one of the biggest hits on this list is the Tudor Corner modular building. The LEGO modulars are always a standout for every year, and this one is no different. 3,266 pieces and a fully enclosed building with different architectural styles that somehow work together. Yes, please, that is amazing. We now have 3 sets at a $250 price point, starting with my biggest letdown of the year, that is the Ninjago City workshops. Just quickly though, if you have seen a few of my videos and enjoyed them, please consider subscribing as we're super close to our goal of 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Anyway, I don't collect these sets, but I can see the appeal of the Ninjago City line, but this one seems to be by far the worst, focusing a lot of the pieces on a mech for Twitchy Tim, and then the builds don't really offer anything too interesting. The minifigure selection is great in the characters that you get, but a lot of them are missing great details, like Harumi has no leg print, or Dorama doesn't have any of that nice sparkle going on, leaving this to be a rare miss for LEGO Ninjago. The Jurassic World T-Rex statue is next, and this is an awesome looking set. Sure, it might get repetitive building so many tan pieces all at once, but with a nice display plaque and an overall imposing footprint, this set is definitely a hit. Similarly, the Fortnite Mecha Team Leader is an incredible set and one of my favorites from this entire year. I love LEGO sets that are unique and have bright colors, and this one does all that and more, especially since I'm a fan of the original live event that this was from. The minifigure is also of exceptional quality, and although the price is a little high, I've seen this one on sale a ton already, so once again, this is a super common hit for LEGO Fortnite. Raising the price to $260 now, we have the Hogwarts Castle main tower from Harry Potter. Now, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but I can see that this set looks really nice and is definitely the most deluxe feeling main tower that we've ever gotten. However, at $260 with just 2,135 pieces, this one feels pretty highly priced and super just unobtainable for kids wanting to build a LEGO Hogwarts in 2025, where this is the main section that you would want, and at $260, that's just so far out of many kids' price ranges, so this one is a close miss on my part. For $10 more, we have the Shire from Lord of the Rings, one of the more overpriced sets on this list, and one that I really want, but just cannot justify this price. Compared to Barad-dûr and Rivendell from a few years back, this feels very different for a massive Lord of the Rings set, and while the build is great, it's just too high of a price, and the first miss Lord of the Rings has had in a while. At $280, we have the Beauty and the Beast Castle, a set that I think is actually a fair price considering people always like to say that Disney sets have to be overpriced. But with 2,916 pieces, this feels pretty fair, so it's a hit on my behalf. Then we have the Neuschwanstein Castle, which looks beautiful as a classic LEGO architecture set that, although I don't buy any of these sets, seems not too overpriced and a really worthwhile build that I've heard a lot of different LEGO YouTubers say they really enjoyed and would call this one a hit. Breaching the gates of $300, we have 3 more sets, the first being the Italian Riviera, which is a stunning looking set, don't get me wrong, but when we have the Tudor Corner, which retails for $70 less, this one doesn't feel overpriced, but it does feel higher priced in comparison to that set. I'll still give this one a hit as I think it's a really great looking set, but any higher of a price and it probably wouldn't have been. Our next LEGO Star Wars set is Django's Slave One, and this is a great UCS set. One of my good friends has this one and really enjoyed putting it together, and that Django minifigure looks great, so this is an obvious hit. Following this, we have Arkham Asylum, our first ever DC modular building, and I think the build looks great here, and the $300 price tag doesn't seem too insane for what you get, but what I'm left a little disappointed by here are the minifigures, with so many of them lacking detail, plus most of them are characters that we've seen so many times before, where if we're getting 17 minifigures in a DC set in 2025, I would like to get at least one more to be a new character or someone that we haven't seen so many times before. However, hopefully this does start a new trend for LEGO DC where we can get some more amazing sets like the older ones that I spoke about in this video that's linked below, so this one is a pretty close hit. There's surprisingly 4 sets that all released at the $330 price point this year, starting with the River Steamboat, which is so unremarkable remarkable to me. The set is fine, it just does not excite me at all, and just reminds me of the boat that they buy in Ozark to open the casino on. I'll give this one a hit, but I really don't care for it. Continuing on with the hits, we have the Goonies set and the Baratier, both which I think are super similar in being kind of half ship designs with the interior on the other side, both including a great slew of new minifigures, and I think the Baratier probably provides a bit of a better value here, but the Goonies set isn't too far off. However, we then have the family Christmas tree, which is so ridiculous at a price point of $330 to me. The build looks cool, the minifigures are fun, but for a once a year decoration, this is priced way too high and a definite miss. We are now coming into the 5 most expensive sets of the year, starting with the $380 Black Pearl, which I was so excited to see LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean return, but this set just does not do it for me. The minifigures are okay, although I would have loved a new Davy Jones, but for the price of this set, it should have been a whole lot better. Like, let me ask you this, would you prefer this set for $380, or for just $20 more, you could buy 2 of the Ninjago Temple Bounty? I have to give this one a miss. Our last Harry Potter set brings us to the $400 Hogsmeade Village Collector's Edition. As I said earlier, I'm super unfamiliar with the source material here, but I do know LEGO very well, and from what I recall, the Diagon Alley set from a few years back looked like a much better deal than this one. To me, this set looks like a bunch of these smaller facade buildings rather than bigger Collector's Edition models, which I would have loved to see from a set of this size. The minifigures also aren't anything too exciting, and with just over 3,200 pieces, I think this is another miss of a set. Fresh off the press is our latest $400 set, that being the Star Trek Enterprise. I think this set looks okay. Not amazing, not terrible, but just okay. With this being the first time that I've ever actually spoken about this set on the channel, I think it's designed exceptionally well, although I do fear for the structural capabilities of this set over time, having a lot of stress being put on that neck section, connecting the main body to the giant disc. The minifigures look fun, I appreciate all of the interesting new molds, but as this set is relatively new, the jury's kind of still out on this one, so I'm going to give it a hit for now, but if there are any diehard Trekkies out there in the comment section, please let me know what your thoughts are on this set. It feels insane to me, but now jumping up to $480, we have the Tropical Aquarium, a set that I've been on record saying I think is pretty ridiculous, and I firmly stand by that. Regardless of the piece count in this set, it seems crazily overpriced for a plastic fish tank with no walls or water or real fish. I like the colors and designs of the fish, but the sheer concept of this set makes it feel just hilarious to say out loud, a $500 LEGO fish tank. So for me, this one is obviously a miss. So to now more than double that $480 price point to reach our #1 most expensive set of 2025 and the most expensive LEGO set of all time, we have the infamous UCS Death Star from LEGO Star Wars. Now that the dust has settled on this set after what was an extremely controversial launch, it seems as though this set has kind of faded instantly into obscurity. I made 2 separate videos on this set, so if you want to hear more of my thoughts, please check them out in the description. But to me, due to the price and the minifigure quality in this set, I have to give this one a miss. It's just too high of a price for a single set, especially for what they're providing here. So now that we've looked at the 30 most expensive LEGO system sets of 2025, excluding the Bricklink Designer Program sets, how many hits and how many misses did we have? We saw a total of 20 hits and 10 misses out of 30 sets. To me, this shows that yes, these expensive sets allow LEGO to make some pretty amazing models. However, when you add up the prices of all of these sets across this year, it totals $9,140 US, which is crazy. That is an insane total, and unless you are in the LEGO Ambassador Network or have a ton of spare cash lying around, you cannot even afford to buy a quarter of these sets. So with a 66% hit rate on these expensive sets, I think LEGO should seriously scale back these expensive releases and consolidate their lineup, since so many of these sets feel like they were talked about for about a week and then completely thrown to the wayside, where sets like the Cullen House, the Chocolate Factory, or the Steamboat seem to be so irrelevant now. In saying that, please let me know what you thought about any of these sets, and make sure to subscribe if you do enjoy my videos to help us reach 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'll see you in the next one.